to another dope episode, 77 Flavors of Chicago.
It's hot.
It's hot.
It's humid. It's muggy. We're by the river.
We are by the... I don't know why we decided to do this, but I know why we decided. We're talking about it.
It's cool.
Because it's cool. But y'all been rocking with us for so long, and there's something dope that we want to show you because we've elevated. And watch me do this real quick. Hands-free, y'all.
That's wild.
It is wild to be hands-free. Shout out to our intern, Nick. And none of this could be possible without the support of y'all and what y'all do right here.
For
so
real.
Thanks for supporting the
Shout out
podcast.
to the youth job center. They introduced us to Nick.
Yes. So now we get to walk around the city hands-free.
Well, I still have to hold Darius' camera.
No, I got it here. Look, this is. Anyway, enough of that. Here's what we're doing today. Today, we are talking about Chicago bridges.
Yep.
And I know we mentioned it before if you listen to the audio, but Chicago bridges are really important. There's some dope history about it. Right now, we're at the Michigan Avenue Bridge, walking along the pier here, which is pretty dope. If you haven't been down here, Architecture Center is right above us. We love them, but really dope stuff that we're doing here.
Yeah. And one thing we didn't know is that there's an actual museum here. So right over there, somewhere. Yeah. We're gonna head over to the museum.
Yeah. We'll be going to the museum to talk. But first, some history about Chicago bridges. Did you know?
Probably not. It's also NASCAR
weekend, so I'm sure people are clapping for it. However, but did you know that the first movable bridge in Chicago was actually the Dearborn Street Bridge?
I did not. That's like further down
that way. 1834 is when that bridge first started.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was the first time that a bridge moved in Chicago, and it was like a swing bridge, not swing bridge. I'm sorry, it was like a drawbridge, like a medieval time type of thing. Yeah, right. you have people who do that. There's people doing that. Yeah. So, and the reason why we start there with that bit of history is because we're going to go to the museum, but Chicago has the most movable bridges in the world. Did you know that? I know you knew that. You maybe.
Well, I mean, I just learned that.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know that before.
Yeah, but Chicago has the most movable bridges. Now you're probably thinking like, hey, ain't there some place over in Europe? They have the most bridges, but we have the most movable.
So like they gotta do this.
Yeah. 37 movable bridges, y'all.
Crazy.
That's crazy. And we have a pretty dope history with movable bridges. In fact, in 1856, the first ever swing bridge, in Chicago was here. So pretty dope. Pretty dope that we had the first ever swing bridge. That was the Rush Street Bridge. Now here's the thing about the Rush Street Bridge. In 1865, it collapsed. It collapsed.
People were on it?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'd imagine, but they moved cattle, so that was how they moved cattle and the herds. And part of the thing is that it was too small and too narrow.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of doomed, but good idea. It was a good idea. The next bridge that I want to tell you about real quick, and we're going to have, somebody else talk about it too, somebody smarter than us. But in 1909, when Chicago, I think it was 1902 actually, 1902.
The correct date will be here.
Yeah, right. Your brother's trying to remember stuff. But 1902, the bridge over at Cortland, the north branch of Chicago River, was the first ever Chicago trunnion bridge. And that's known as, it's a trunnion bridge, is spelled trunnion like onion, okay? So what that is, it's a swing bridge, or like a pivot, a bridge on a pivot, and a seesaw. That's what trunnion bascule, that's what bascule means. It's like, it does that, it does that, Hands free, I can do this kind of stuff. I can do that now, but hands free.
We should have thought about this better. Yeah. You're going to do things most all the time.
I know. But that was the first Chicago trunnion bridge, and it was known as Chicago-style bridge.
Yeah.
And there's so many more of those Chicago-style bridges across the city. So that's where our journey is going to take us today. We're going to talk to somebody at the Chicago Bridge Museum.
Yep.
That's going to tell us a lot more.
Let's go.
Let's get it. one of the managers, tour guides.
I'm the museum director at the Bridgehouse Museum.
Boom, even fancier than that. Josh, go ahead, man. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. My name is Josh Coles. I've been the director of the McCormick Bridgehouse and Chicago River Museum here on the Chicago Riverwalk for about 6 years. The Bridgehouse Museum is a project of Friends of the Chicago River, which is an environmental organization that has been working to clean up the Chicago River for over 40 years.
Oh, wow.
And we are part of the education and outreach program of the organization. So we have occupied this historic landmark bridge house and transformed it into a museum all about the Chicago River. We have exhibits all the way from pre-colonization up to modern day.
Oh, wow.
Holy cow.
And it's pretty amazing. So we also have a look into the bridge itself. So this bridge was built 103 years ago in 1920. The bridge house itself was finished in 1928. And we have a look inside the bridge so you can walk inside, see the gears, see the counterweight that still operate this bridge about 30 times a year. So
that's
wow.
So correct. I wanna fact check something.
Yes.
I just read that the Chicago River is actually like safe to be in physically right now. Like at this point,
yes.
for the first time ever.
Not the first time ever. It used to be pre-colonization.
Oh, right.
So before all the pollution.
Before,
before
when it was pure, for real.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Before human interaction with it, really. But the river is safe to be in, according to the EPA.
Okay.
About 99% of the time. So really, the only time that it's unsafe is if there's a big rainstorm and there's a lot of runoff from the streets, or if the very, very rare occasion that there's a flood and the sewers have to release into the river. That occurrence happens very infrequently now, where it used to happen every 5 or 6 days.
Oh, wow.
Back when the
5
river,
to 6 days.
Back when the river was at its most
That's like all week. That's like
It's like, So when the river was at its most polluted, prior to all of these organizations starting to clean it up, the sewers would release into it all the time.
Wow.
However, due to organizations like ours and many of our partner organizations working with government agencies and making sure that the infrastructure is better to hold all that water, the sewers release into the river very, very infrequently.
That's awesome.
So it is safe
That's
to,
awesome.
it's technically safe to swim in, even though it's illegal to do so downtown. But that's mostly due to access points and boats, traffic, stuff like that.
Okay.
Get a kayak. That's
for real.
safer.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So as part of the tour, I see some stuff here. Is this what is this here?
So we, at the Bridgehouse Museum, we're a very affordable experience, but we also offer a lot of free experiences here. So our science station, we kind of rotate different types of science activities out here. This is all free for people along the Riverwalk to come up, learn about the wildlife that's actually in and on the river. So this river actually has a ton of wildlife that lives in it and along it, and that is indicative of how healthy it is now.
That's good.
For instance, so in 1970, there was a survey done on the fish that lived in this river, and there were only 7 species. And those species were fish that could live in really dirty water. They could live in like water that's not very oxygenated. But there has been surveys all throughout the last 40 years, and now there's over 70 species of fish that live in the water. So that's like a tenfold increase.
How did they get here?
Right. Where did they come from?
So a lot of them come from the lake. So a lot of the lake fish are the same as the river fish. But the river itself, once it gets cleaner, all of those fish start to come back. So if there was a survey in the 70s, so those fish all couldn't have been caught necessarily. So there might have been really small populations living in areas that maybe were cleaner than other areas, but then they expand into the whole river system since
that is
it all
so
gets
cool.
cleaner.
That is so cool.
Pretty incredible.
That's some stuff I wouldn't know. I would have known 70 different species in the Chicago River.
Now I will never go in the river because I'm scared of fish.
Bro, I'm definitely terrified. I can't swim, and I'm gonna get bit up by 70 different versions of a fish. No.
And the thing is too, that's only fish. So there's turtles. I'm sure you saw like the chunky There's a bunch of different species of turtles that live in this river. There's beavers. There's muskrats. There's actually river.
What rat?
Muskrats. They look like beavers.
I thought they were land animals.
They live in the land and the water. So they kind of live along the river. So we always think about the river as being like the water itself, but also the land connected to it. So all of it's important.
That's why I see like butterflies, birds.
Exactly. And you think about the area above the river too. So like migratory birds are going through this area. area.
Yep.
So there's hundreds of species of birds that travel through Chicago.
That's awesome.
All the way from South America all the way up to Canada.
Wow.
So it's pretty incredible.
Wow, that is really cool.
Yep.
Another reason why Chicago
Yeah,
is dope, y'all.
for real.
Another reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Should we head inside?
Yeah, let's go inside.
Let's get it.
Cool. Cool, so the first thing we kind of show people whenever we come in the museum is this small map here, and this shows the entire Chicago-Calumet River system. Okay. So the river system is much bigger than just this area downtown. We get a lot of tourists who think that the Chicago River is just this little
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But the river system itself is actually 156 miles long.
Wow.
So that goes all the way up to Wisconsin, pretty much about 10 miles south of the Wisconsin border, all the way down through the northern suburbs, through Chicago itself. The southwest suburbs include the Chicago Sanitary and Ship Canal, which is a human-made canal. And then we as an organization, we also work on the Calumet system, which is south of Chicago. So that includes the Cal Sag Channel, which is a human-made channel, Lake Calumet, the Calumet River, and the Little Cal. So we work on all of that. We do things like restoration projects. We work with communities to empower them to get their own projects off the ground. Right. So we work in this whole region as a very small organization, and this museum itself is kind of the hub of that. So you can learn all about what we do as an organization here at this museum.
So you do Yep. That's amazing. Like, that's amazing. 156 miles of coverage.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of area. So, and if you think about it, that's only the waterway. We're not even talking about like the square mileage of the area surrounding that waterway.
That's crazy.
How many people work for this organization?
We have about 15 people.
That's it?
15? That's it? I was expecting you to say like 50, 60.
No. There's about 15 of us. And here at the museum, there's only 4 of us.
Wow.
And I see 3 of, we've seen 3 of y'all already.
One other person,
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. Where are they?
Man, kudos to y'all. Like,
What are you doing?
This is amazing. Shoot, if you need a volunteer, I sweet.
Please, we can always use them.
Yeah, for real, yeah. That'd be dope to do.
Cool.
Hey, let's
keep going.
We follow the lead.
Cool, yeah, let's go in. So first thing we can do is walk inside here.
We can walk inside here?
This is the gear room.
Oh my God. Yo!
Is this how you lift the bridge?
Yeah, so we don't do it ourselves, but the Chicago Department of Transportation is the people that lift it.
Wow.
So whenever there's a bridge lift, which happens a few dozen times a year, all of this is moving. So the gears are all moving. These gears are all original too from 1920.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
They're very clean for 1920s bridge.
They clean them every now and
Okay.
then. But these gears start moving. The counterweight, which is how this bridge actually operates, drops about 40 feet underground, which you can watch from in this room. And it's pretty amazing. Yeah, you can see the street right here as it drops, which is pretty great.
This is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like,
super cool. Yeah. And we do the lifts on Wednesdays and Saturdays in the spring and the fall because this bridge is now on a schedule from the Department of Transportation, and it mostly only opens for sailboats that are going in and out of Lake Michigan. So in the spring, they're all going out into Lake Michigan to spend the summer. In the fall, they're coming back in to their harbors or wherever they stay for the.
Is that the case for all the other bridges also? Like the schedule, they control all of those, right?
Yeah. So these bridges open sequentially, so one at a time.
One at a time.
So the sailboats will go through one.
To keep the traffic flowing, too. So like
exactly.
Oh,
that's a hell of a job.
It's a long day.
That's a long day.
It's a long day.
Holy cow.
And this bridge is really unique because it's the first of its kind. So it's a vascular trunnion bridge, but it's not the first vascular trunnion bridge, but it's the first one to carry 2 layers of vehicular traffic. So if you know Michigan Avenue, you know that there's 2 levels. This is the first one that actually carried 2 layers of traffic.
In the world.
In the world. And it's been replicated all over the world because
we've seen it.
Because of how efficient it is. So this bridge actually takes such little electricity to move that it's very efficient. It doesn't really break down very often.
Right.
It only takes about 108 horsepower, which is the size of
that's like a Camry.
It's like my Honda Fit.
I'm about to say that's a Camry.
To move this huge bridge. So the counterweight itself weighs 12,000 tons. And the leaf that's going over the river weighs about 4,000 tons. So think of
so that it's got to be way more to pull it up and be stable. Right?
So it's very balanced. So the way it works is with gravity, pretty much. These gears just kind of get it moving, and gravity takes over.
The drop just pulls it down, pulls it up.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
That's amazing, dude. Like I'm up here.
Yeah.
I'm fanning out right now, y'all. Like this is amazing. This is amazing. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to watch it from in here too. So this is the only bridge house that's open to the public in the U.S. that I know of, but definitely in Chicago. They're all closed off. They're all part of the roadway, the Department of Transportation. But we were able to operate this one as a museum.
That's amazing.
Since 2006.
Chicago is just dope, man. Right? Like,
Yeah, it's great.
Do they all look similar to this, you think?
All the gears look similar in this style of bridge. We have a few different types of styles of bridges in Chicago. Most of them are this type, but all the ones that are bascule bridges look pretty similar to this. And everything is symmetrical, so if you were on the other side, it would
it's the same thing.
Yep.
So,
That's crazy.
check this out, Nick. Get a shot of this. Look at the can of WD-40 right there. Look
They got it.
Yeah, exactly.
look at the can of WD-40. That's pretty funny.
Super high tech.
Yeah.
So whenever this bridge is getting operated, there's a few different teams of people. So there'll always be city workers back here, and all the motors and locks and whatnot are in the back of the bridge here. So whenever it's moving, you can see the big heel walk being pulled out of the back of the counterweight.
Wow.
You can see all these gears moving. It's pretty great. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Is it like as simple as like pressing a button and all of this starts moving, or like is it much more complicated?
I believe it's all been automated in that way.
Okay, cool.
For most of these bridges. As we go upstairs, we have some vintage bridge tender equipment that is a little more complicated that's not used anymore.
Yeah.
But right now, I believe that most of them have been modernized. That it's mostly just like
a push button and then it does it.
Yep.
Does it get hot down? I mean, I know it's cool now, but does it get hot when it's moving?
Not really.
Not really?
No,
Well, he just said 180 horsepower.
I guess
That's not a lot.
I guess it's not going. Yeah, right.
It's all really fast too. It takes about between 30 seconds and a minute.
Oh,
So-
Really?
Yeah.
To move 12,000 pounds.
Yep.
12,000 tons.
Yep.
Gee, this is just amazing. Like this is.
Yeah.
I swear, I love this podcast. This is just dream come true.
For real.
This is.
And one of the cool things about a bascule bridge, you can kind of tell from the outside, but it's all in the Beaux-Arts style of architecture, which values both symmetry and also everything being below street level.
Yeah.
So that's why this counterweight is underground.
Right.
Because if you look up top, all the mechanics are
Hidden.
underground.
Yeah.
Hidden.
So it looks nicer.
So it
it's
looks
not
nicer, yeah.
It looks
obstructing.
streamlined.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Chicago
That's
thought of
awesome.
everything when
Yeah.
they thought of a city. Like,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Just the whole point of
We
it
watched
was
everyone
beautification,
else's mistakes
Exactly,
and then we made it better.
Well, no,
Yeah.
a lot of times we were the first though.
Right.
A lot of times we were the first to do it.
We watched their
Yeah,
ugly
I guess,
bridges
yeah,
and
yeah.
then we made nicer
Then we
bridges.
made a beautiful one. Exactly. I think they're all beautiful to be fair.
Yeah.
But this bridge actually was the first one on Michigan Avenue too.
Oh,
So it was
wow.
part of the 1909 Burnham Plan.
Yeah.
So it extended Michigan Avenue from the south of the river to the north.
Yep.
So prior to this bridge being built, the north side of Michigan Avenue wasn't Michigan Avenue. It
Right.
was called Pine Street, and it was just a dirt road. There was really nothing on the other side except for some factories and whatnot. But as soon as this bridge was built, the other side of Michigan Avenue started to expand.
That's when everyone abandoned Prairie Avenue
Yeah.
and Motor Row and
came
moved
up
to Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Listen to that episode somewhere here.
Pulling it back.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
You know what else is crazy? So the door just closed, and you can hear the traffic from outside just go away.
It went away. Yeah.
It's
That's
just
wild.
nuts.
Yeah.
This is.
We're also on one of the noisiest corners in Chicago, so it's quite noisy in here.
Yeah. Well, not
right
in
now.
here. Yeah, not right now. Just the ventilator.
Just outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Should we go upstairs?
Yeah, let's go upstairs. So the museum itself is laid out chronologically. So this first floor is all about kind of like pre-colonization, what the region looks like. We talk a lot about prairies and how they were formed, how Chicago got its name, which is of course from a species of plant called Allium trichocum, which is a species of wild garlic. They said that the banks of the Chicago River smelled like a kind of like skunky or garlicky, and that's where the name came from a Native American word for that plant. And then we go into pre-colonization, up to the French traders, up to all the rest of the Europeans arriving. And then the rest of the museum, up until the top floor, is all going to be about how this river was manipulated by people. So it's been manipulated by people since the Europeans arrived, and most of that was in a bad way. But in the past 40 years, we've really tried to
reverse that course.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not reverse the course.
Yeah. Well, I mean, send it back the right
No,
way.
I know. But get it because the river is reversed.
Right. Look at you. Get the coin. Get coin.
So I won't go over everything in the museum. That'll give some people some incentive
Yeah.
to come check it
Yes.
out.
Come check it out themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, for sure.
But we go over a lot of how this river is manipulated. So it was straightened, it was dredged. Some parts of it were completely human-made, like a lot of the channels. Chicago's here because the river's here. It's here because of navigation, basically. And Chicago at one point was the busiest port in the United States and to some say the world. The Chicago River was really important for getting people from the Great Lakes and from the east all the way to the west. This actually was kind of difficult at first because there wasn't a passageway from the Chicago River to the Mississippi, but some canals were built, including the Illinois-Michigan Canal, that connected those through a portage area called Mud Lake. So that was a really important aspect of getting people to Chicago, all the way to the Des Plaines, Illinois, and Mississippi River. Another really infamous part of Chicago, I'm sure you know, is Bubbly Creek.
Oh, we know.
We talk a lot about Bubbly Creek in this museum. It was a very infamous, dirty part of the river.
Super stinky.
Super stinky.
Thanks to the factories.
Yeah, exactly. We won't go over the whole story.
Yeah.
They can check it out on another episode.
I'm sure you have an episode.
Yep.
But that's in the neighborhood of Bridgeport, and there's actually like a boathouse there where you can kayak and canoe there, and it's not the dirty area that it used to be. There's a restoration project that is getting started there pretty soon.
Oh, that's awesome. To kind of like clean up the area, or
Exactly.
So 70 more fish can come.
Yeah, exactly.
So does Bubbly Creek connects to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So technically, Bubbly Creek is not the real name of it. It's called the South Branch.
Oh yeah.
South Fork of the South Branch of the Chicago River.
Right.
I remember stumbling over that during the episode.
Yep.
So
South Fork of the South Branch.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome.
That's so dope.
Cool. And this floor is actually interesting because if you go out that door, that's Lower Wacker. And we do talk about how the city was raised in this museum for several reasons. One of the reasons was to build sewers underneath, because prior to the city being raised, there wasn't a sewer system. There was basically just kind of channels along the streets that would take the sewage directly into the river. But if you walk out that door, you can kind of see one of the reasons that the city was raised, because it's out of the wetness, it's out of the muck, because Chicago is built on a wetland, essentially.
Yeah.
So
you can kind of see like through there.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing is too is that because that used to be called Market Street. Would that have been the original Market Street and not the top floor Wacker?
I believe so. Or it would have been somewhere closer to this level.
Yeah, closer to this level because they raised it.
As opposed to up there.
Interesting.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Yep. Cool. Let's go up.
Let's. Oh, wow.
All right, cool. So this floor is clearly the third floor, which is these big porthole windows. So this floor, we also have some of the vintage bridge tender equipment that would have been used early on to open and close this bridge. There are a few different like switches, some like meters and whatnot that would have been used in the bridge house. A fact about this specific bridge house is it's only here because of symmetry. So this bridge house never had a operating bridge tender in it.
Okay.
That's because due to the style of architecture, it values symmetry. And this one and the one across by the Apple store were all just empty. They were just used for storage.
Oh, that's so cool.
So that's how we were able to make it a museum.
Okay, because there was nothing in the way in essence.
Yep.
Oh,
So the one across the river that we can see from here and the one across the street that we'll be able to see upstairs are the ones that still operate this bridge.
Gotcha.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So whenever it's opening and closing, you can see the workers inside that are
I
still
appreciate
operating.
the symmetry, the
Yeah.
attention to detail.
But
I
that's
like
that's
that.
Chicago. We bougie. We love things to look good. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm with it. I'm with it. It translates all the way through to people. So.
For real.
This is so dope. Yeah, y'all got to come check this out.
Yeah.
Like, this is just to see. I would have never crossed the bridge if I seen that this was what was operating. I would have never crossed this bridge. If this thing specifically, that one right there, like, I would have never trusted that. That board looks like a submarine ship type of thing.
A pressure.
Yeah,
reader.
pressure. Yes, maybe that, because like I wouldn't know how to read it, but at least I could be like, okay, if it go too low.
And all this stuff would have been on the top floor too, so you can kind of see this this old photo of the bridge tender up there, so you can see some of these same the same equipment.
Oh, nice.
And the reason why it's on the top floor is so that they could see if anyone was on the bridge when they're about to open it. So especially in like the 1920s, 30s.
So cool.
That would be really important to make sure nobody's
right. You got some old jalopy car coming through it.
Exactly.
or goats or something like that. Sheep just and the bridge goes
There's a story about the old Rush Street Bridge, which was here before the Michigan Avenue Bridge, and that was a swing bridge which had a pier in the middle and a swing around it. And there's a story about a herd of cattle that was on it that crashed into the river because they opened it mistakenly. So there's a lot of stories about how bridges actually collapse because of errors on the part of bridge tenders.
Wow.
There's your answer. We just talked about that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Okay,
we
cool.
just we were like, we think it's because the herd and the cattle going across.
That's what it was.
There you
That
go.
makes sense.
That makes sense.
Cool.
That's
I'm glad
so
you answered
good.
that. 'Cause
I know.
was like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I want to be curious forever.
Yeah, you read some of this stuff and you're like, is that true? You know?
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Josh said it's true, so we're good. We're good.
Should we go up?
We
Cool.
continue.
Yeah. Let's go up. I'll give you a sense of where we are here. So it's kind of our secret door.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
So
We're outside. Oh,
you
no.
can kind of see we're at street level here.
Wow.
That's so crazy.
So we open this door every now and then on like our free days.
Yeah.
Bring people in off the street. Or,
Oh, that's awesome.
That is dope.
yeah.
That's so dope.
Cool. So
This
let's
is the kind of
go up to
stuff that we
4
love.
here. We're almost to the top.
I could do this all day. It's like walking upstairs normally, I would be tired as hell. But like, this is fun.
Well, we're doing one floor at a time.
One at
so.
a time.
Yeah, one at a time with like a 5-minute break. We're
Yeah.
good. Shows out of shape. I see the word failed attempts.
Yeah, so this museum talks a lot about how the river it was polluted and the reasons for that. And we talk a lot about water quality and water management here. This floor, this is the 4th floor, so we're almost to modern day.
Right.
So we cover a lot of time in this floor. So we go from about the 1900s all the way to the 1970s.
Okay, so
when
70
the Clean
years.
Water
Yeah.
Act happened. In pre-1900, there was a lot of waterborne illness going on. So people were dying from drinking the water. And that is because the water was all coming from Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
And the Chicago River historically flowed into Lake Michigan. So as you know, the river was reversed.
Yeah.
And that is because there were several failed attempts to get fresh water from further and further out into Lake Michigan. And that was done by installing the water cribs out there.
Yeah.
So you probably know those little buildings that are out there. Those are
Yeah.
all pulling the water from further and further
That's what
out
that is. That's what that is, yeah.
from the lake. So they built a few water cribs that weren't that far out, maybe a few hundred yards. And those water cribs worked for a while because most of the pollution settled along the shore. But as more and more people came here, more and more pollution got dumped into the river and in turn the lake, so that pollution would move further and further out, overtake the water cribs. So they built new ones that were further out, and that worked for a while as well.
Wow.
But eventually that didn't work anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were like,
How far can you go?
Right.
Exactly. So they were basically like, how do we prevent that pollution from actually entering the drinking source, which is Lake Michigan, forever?
Right.
And the way they did that was to just completely reverse the flow of the river. It's actually not a complicated way that they did it.
Right.
They built a canal that was deeper than the Chicago River that went through a glacial ridge. So the west side of it was deeper than the east side of it. So gravity kind of just pulled that water the opposite direction. And that canal is called the Sanitarian Ship Canal.
That is the first time
That
I've heard
is-
that
yeah.
explanation.
I
Like
never knew
now,
how.
now it makes sense.
Yep.
Now it makes sense. Didn't we? It was so dope, right? The reversing the Panama Canal, right? Kind of like took lessons from us, right? Or somewhere in Peru.
I'm not too sure about that. That does sound right.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, yeah,
about that.
that's okay. That's all right. We'll figure it out.
But this was the first river that was ever reversed.
Yes.
And it's still reversed. Actually the Calumet River was reversed as well a few decades later for the exact same reason. Because it was flowing into Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
It needed to not flow into Lake Michigan
Right.
anymore. So both of the rivers that we work on as an organization have been reversed.
Yeah.
It's just so there's 2 technically canals. Like,
Exactly.
That's
so. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, there's actually another one called the North Shore Channel, which is up in the northern suburbs, which acts kind of. it's kind of a weird way to think about it, but I think of it as like a flush.
Yeah.
Because the river is historically so slow moving
Right.
that sometimes it needs like a boost
Right.
of water to kind of flush through. So the North Shore Channel will be opened up in Winnetka, and that water will kind of flush the rest of the system to get it moving if it's just going too
wow.
slowly.
So it's like,
That is
wow.
awesome.
Yep.
Water helping water.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we do talk a lot about the sewer systems here. We have a separated sewer, or I'm sorry, we have a combined sewer system, which means that all of our stormwater and
I thought you meant
wastewater-
like pee and poop goes in the same one.
I mean, basically, that is all going into the
Yeah.
same system as our stormwater. So,
Oh, wow.
so we built something in Chicago called the Deep Tunnel, or the TARP, Tunnel and Reservoir Plan, which is a series of these massive tunnels, which there's a photo, you can see
Oh,
how big
wow.
they are.
That is
So massive tunnels like that come by, or connecting to massive reservoirs that hold stormwater if there's a flood, and that water can be held for a certain amount of time before it gets treated at the
Yeah.
water plants.
Wow.
But as an organization think that's great, and it is very helpful in preventing the sewer from being released in the river. But we need more than that. We need green infrastructure, which is more parks, more green space,
Right.
easements along the river which have native plants in them,
Right,
so that that water can be soaked
Yeah.
up more naturally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we advocate for.
So that would
all of
help.
that.
Like if,
Yep.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are still going to be sewer releases unless green infrastructure is introduced, because that deep tunnel system is based on data from the 1970s,
Right.
Oh.
which is different than the data we have now
Yeah.
because of climate change,
Yeah.
increased storms.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out a better way to capture water more naturally in addition to the deep tunnel.
I mean, why wouldn't you put more trees and more greenery and
Right.
more things? Yeah, like it
For real.
would just help.
Please stop this climate change.
Yeah,
Because
right.
right now we're going through the Canada fire
Yeah.
smoke
Yeah.
situation.
And climate change at the same time.
Well,
Yeah,
that
that's-
is caused by climate change.
Yeah, well, or somebody smoking and just
No.
like, one
Somebody
of the two.
set it on
Yeah,
fire.
yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, let's head up. This floor's,
Oh, wow.
this floor's a little warmer because it's the
Oh,
top.
it's the top. Heat rises. Yeah. Oh, we are at the top
Wow.
of.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
We're at the top of the bridge.
So we're at the top of the Bridgehouse. So you get 360-degree views, so you can see all the way up and down Michigan Avenue, all the way east and west on the river, all the way out to the lake if it's not a smoky day.
Ba-doom-tsh.
Exactly. So this floor is all about what's going on right now at the river. So Friends of Chicago River was formed in 1979, so we've been working for about 44 years. And the things that we work on are 3 different project areas. So we work on education and outreach, which is what the museum is,
Right.
in addition to a few other, like our volunteer program, canoe program, things like that. We work on policy and planning,
Right.
which is development, making sure government agencies are following ethical policy when it comes to-
Accountability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on the ground projects, which are our wide scale habitat projects. So we'll do restoration projects, which improve habitat for animals. We'll install things like osprey poles. Ospreys are these big eagles that work or eat fish.
Yep.
We do turtle habitat. We do bat houses. Actually,
Wow.
these giant bat
Wow.
houses that we call bat condos because they're huge. And a few other on the ground projects.
Oh,
Wow.
So we go over all that on this floor. In addition to the amazing views, you can kind of learn all about
Yeah,
those
it's
project
beautiful.
areas.
And there's 15 people, y'all, that's doing this. Like, mind you,
That's
15
crazy.
people
Yep.
doing this.
crazy.
Like, look at this view. Look at the view of like Whacker.
Do you ever
Like,
come up here and just people watch?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Usually people don't even look up here. It's kind of like a little secret.
Yeah. Well,
House.
to be honest with you, I wouldn't even know to look up. I mean, you
Right.
would look, but like there's so much architecture on the
Yeah.
outside of this, so you're more focused on that than you are
Right.
Yeah.
On someone.
somebody looking out the window. Like, had I seen a person in the window, I would have lost my shit.
Yeah.
I'd be like, wait, what? He's looking back at me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah, but this is amazing.
awesome.
Cool.
So, Josh, tell people how they can like come here, the times that you
Support,
open and support
follow.
whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the Bridgehouse Museum is a seasonal museum, so we're open May through October. In the winter, we're closed just for it's really cold in
Yep,
here.
yep.
Not too many tourists down on the Riverwalk. But May through October, Wednesday through Sunday, we're open 10 to 5. We also have a lot of different special events. So we have some fundraisers. Our annual fundraiser is called Autumn Cruise, where we get people on the river. But we do a thing called Erie Evening as well, which is like a Halloween event
Yep.
here at the museum at night. We have things like speaker series. We do some other different like art contests. We always have like some fun, innovative events here. So if people want to come to those, just check out our website. It's bridgehousemuseum.org. And then Friends of the Chicago River, of course, has a ton of other events that go on throughout the year. So we have fundraisers. We have fun ways to get out onto the river. We have volunteer events where people can go and remove invasive species, plant native plants, things like that. So it's all very, very fun.
That's awesome.
Dope. Man, y'all come out here, support, check it out.
Learn
Learn
something.
something. This view is amazing.
Yeah,
like
this
this
is
view
really
is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Josh, thank you, my
Thank you
brother.
so much.
Yeah, thank you all
Appreciate
for thanks for coming.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so we are at the food
portion of the
portion of the episode. So we went right next door to the Chicago Bridge Museum. So we are at Beat Kitchen,
Okay.
which is actually, funny enough, Beat Kitchen is actually like locally owned by a Chicago person.
Yeah.
It's not like a restaurant group or anything, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so we're eating today, and we thought this would be like we would mimic how it would be a.
Into the camera so we can see you.
Oh yeah. Well, I was thinking it would be like how
There we go.
if you were like to spend a day out here.
Yeah.
This is what it would be like.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go. There you go. We got two different things here. Three different things. Got the fish. Got a fish taco here.
Tilapia. That looks
because-
really good. Look at the purple tortilla.
Yeah, purple tortilla going crazy, y'all. Look at that.
That's
Ooh,
really cool.
and then look inside of that bad boy.
That's what
Can
she
y'all
said.
see it? Can y'all see it? Look at just as she said.
That's what she
This thing is. Look at that.
Look at
Ooh, purple. Hold on, y'all about to see your boy get B-roll live. This
Okay.
is crazy.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. Hold on. Let me turn the camera on.
It's his first day.
Ooh. Don't. Yeah, right there. Oh, look at that. Look at the purple goodness, y'all.
That looks so good.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Take a bite.
Ooh, fire. Anyway,
Mm.
it's smacking. Oh, let's see.
Also, these fries are really good.
Ooh. Oh my God. There's
is
some
really
sauce on
good.
here
Yeah.
that is making this absolutely crazy. Mmm.
Is this mustard? Oh yeah, mustard. Look at that. I didn't see. Have you seen these on the Heinz packets? This one says Florida Cuban sandwich. This one says North Dakota hot dish.
That's a good taco.
Yeah. And you know Dario knows a good taco.
You already know.
You already know.
You already
You know
know.
what time it is.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I got the grilled chicken sandwich, which is avocado, tomato, lettuce, onion, and I added chipotle mayo to it. Not gonna lie, this bottom bread is
Smaller than the big top bread.
yeah.
Go ahead. Bite into it. Yeah, fine.
That's a generous amount of
that's a
stuff.
hefty lean into the camera. There you go. How it look? How it taste? What is it, chicken? That is obviously fire. Said it's all right. Honest feedback. Well, let me see this burger. Let me see what this burger talking about. So the burger, thick is Angus beef. The beef.
That
Angus-
bacon strip is
The
thick.
bacon strip is going crazy. Look at that. Can you see that on there? Y'all can see it. But yeah, then
Yeah.
you look at this right here. Look at the toppings. You know, raw onion, purple onion. You get too many tomatoes. No, I was playing.
Dario doesn't like.
I don't mess with tomatoes like that. But I'm gonna reorganize these bad boys. I don't need them on top of each other.
These fries go crazy though.
And I have a job to do next, so I'm not gonna keep it right there. Anyway, let's see. Let's take a bite.
Good.
No.
I would say grilled chicken breast is hard to make into a good sandwich. So you know, maybe it's
The bacon is really thick cut, y'all. Like, make sure you got a good dental plan. Cause
Yeah.
you're gonna go through this bad boy. Man,
Can I try?
yeah,
You want to try the chicken sandwich?
yeah, yeah. You dropped them. Let's see.
That's good. The burger is good.
I rock with the chicken. I rock with the chicken.
It's just like, it's okay.
It's grilled chicken, you know. It's not bad.
It's not.
Let's see the rock. These fries are good.
Yeah, the fries are really good.
Oh my god.
So try them with the chipotle mayo.
With the chipotle mayo?
Yeah,
The fry? Let's see.
yeah.
Let's see what we talking about. Okay.
Right?
Oh, that chipotle mayo
I
mayo.
know. I'm telling you.
Oh, this, hold on.
So Beat Kitchen is actually all around the city.
Mm-hmm.
They also have live music.
Most things on the Riverwalk, restaurants on the Riverwalk are from neighborhoods within the city. So, pretty dope. Pretty dope. Hey, I'm rocking with the stuff right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good move. Well, that's the episode today, y'all.
Yeah.
We told you about the Chicago bridges.
Yeah.
One more fun fact. One of the first like trunnion bridges in the city, I think it's trunnion, or one of the bridges in the city, was actually the Cortlandt Street Bridge over the north branch of the Chicago River. Pretty dope. It was one of the first of its kind. Pretty sick. Another fun fact before we head out of here.
Yeah.
But we're about to finish eating. I have a show, a show and a gig after this, so we got to get going. But before we leave, let's show you our intern. Come over here, Nick.
Nick is like mac and cheese all in his mouth.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all?
Shout out to our intern, Nick. Appreciate you. First day on the job, my brother.
Always an honor working with these two beautiful people.
Hey,
Nick.
we will see y'all next time. Peace.